Hello everyone, here. Welcome to yet another LEGO Hogwarts update. Without further ado, I have many things to show you this time, so let's get to it. This time we're over here, and the courtyard, which we have not seen in quite a while. I'm getting very close to finishing this whole thing and its rebuilding and get to the courtyard and starting to, well, rework it accordingly. When it comes to reworking, last time I showed you a big Mills plate. Well, not exactly a Mills plate, but a big plate sandwich, 2 plates and brick in between. I believe this one is 60 by 64, which I decided to recreate instead of these, well, basic plates that I've been using before. And here we have all sorts of tiles that, well, were used to position the garden little trays and also the rock work. Well, I decided it's time to scrap all these and make something custom, which will also allow me to basically have custom dimensions. I don't like cutting these space plates. I know many people do, but I'm not really a fan of that. So I decided to raise everything up and really be able to create as many different shapes as I need. So I think I showed you one last time, and this time around I made a second one, which is basically identical to the other one. I made sure to have dark tan on the edges, but everywhere in between or in the inner sides I have other colors that are just cheaper, like this one. I'm not really sure why I insisted on dark tan, because I would prefer them to be tan, but I just found these dark tan plates on a very cheap price, and I was able to, well, get a lot of them. So for the time being, they'll be dark tan, but in the end, it doesn't really matter, because all these edges here will be hidden by rock work one day, so it just doesn't really matter what color it is. I guess just so it doesn't annoy me too much for the time being. So as you can see, I have left over here, I believe on this side, on this side we have some pinholes, because these two are going to be connected eventually, and I'm going to place this section of the Great Hall on top of this whole platform. And next thing I'm going to do actually is make this little slot for the Great Hall, which I'll be able to pick up and place over here. This side here will be up to here, I believe, and then we'll have, I believe, 15 studs on this side and 15 studs on that side, which will be used to place all the garden pieces, and there will be 18 or so studs, or maybe 16 over here in the back. So once again, we'll be able to have the garden, which will be longer, obviously, because now this portion is longer than it was before the rebuild. And we're going to have the garden going like this, like this, like this, all around like it was before. So I don't know how long actually that will take me. I think not too long. So let's actually get to it and form the little pocket where the Great Hall will be positioned. Obviously this thing is very, very heavy now, and I'll have to detach all the modules, the 3 towers, then the roof, the backside, and this front module as well, and maybe even the plate with the minifigs that is inside, and place this here. So let's do that. All right, so I took everything apart, connected these 2 Mills plates, and created a little border with tiling just around the edges so far, because I don't really have enough tiles to cover this whole, well, this is 100, and I believe 1 studs up to here, and another 34 over here in the width section, and I don't have that many tiles to cover all this square footage. So just for now, the borders, I have actually ordered a few tiles on a kind of a great price to be able to cover that at a later time. But the important thing was just to fit this here and be able to lift this, as I hadn't lifted it in quite a while. And actually I did lift it without removing the plate here with the minifigs, which actually contributes quite a lot to the weight. And obviously this is, I just slid this separately after placing this, but even this was pretty heavy and was a bit afraid. Some of the towers here got bumped against my chest while I was carrying it, but yeah, decided to cheese it a little bit. It ended up fine, but still have to be pretty careful. So with that out of the way, now we have a spacing over here of 15 on both sides. So that is going to be used to place these modules back here. Now obviously the modules will have to be reconstructed a little bit, as they do not cover this increased length of the great hole, and also this spacing will be a bit more well, longer, but that's fine. So I will get to remodeling those and see how far I get. While doing other things, I stopped for a bit to increase the height of the central pillar by, well, 2 bricks, and I don't know, still unsure whether it should be a bit taller or not. It's just a bit weird because the spacing here, like this, has to be to start here, but then this becomes a little bit too tall. Maybe I should shrink it up to here. Thinking about this angle to make it like this, as this portion should be a bit higher. Not really sure if that's possible. We'll try with not 1x6s, but 1x8s or 1x10s. Do 1x10s even exist? We have to check. So that's where I will improve next. Now I'm trying to see different pictures from this angle of the great hole just to determine how tall should this be compared to the left and right towers, and I'm seeing different things really from different variations of the castle, different renderings, different imaginings. So maybe at the end of the day it just doesn't really matter exactly how tall it is. Maybe this is fine. Tell me what you think. I myself might consider increasing the height by another 1 or 2 bricks. Maybe, really depends how it will look like once I change this to these 33-degree, or are they 45-degree? I'm not really sure, bricks. But that's for another time. Now, over here, I did a few more preparations just to place the little garden modules, and obviously up to here now you can see where they are start and begin. So the first one is up to here and up to here, and then this here is another one, this here is another one. Now this section here is actually not made. I did some testing by placing them. First I cleaned all of them because they were actually quite dusty. So after I did that, I tested just to see if how usable the already built modules are, and it turns out that I just split these two that were neighbors before, and this section needs to be redone, connecting them. So this will be a new section here, and these tiles here are how I will connect it so they just don't move. And same over here. Basically, this section is cut into 2. Over here we have this angular one, an L piece, and then another J piece over here. These ones are fine, don't need to be reconstructed, so this ends up to here. And then over here the next section, and this section here needs to be new, as this section here is the old one. And plus, as you remember, maybe you don't, we have rocks all over here. That's why I left this section here without any texture. If you remember from before, over here was actually where all the trays were like you'll be able to take them out from this side. But since this new rebuild, you can now take them from this way, as everything is a lot more modular now. But I decided, well, I want to keep the rocks. It really helps to kind of make things prettier and kind of more variety. So I kept the rocks, and over here, this whole rock panel from the back going around this wall and making another corner and ending somewhere here where the side building will be. So rocks and garden module, another garden module on the other side. So actually, let's place the rocks and see exactly how this will work. I was actually kind of surprised looking at the back section here of the rock work, how fitting the rock work here was. And I thought, well, last time this here, I kept changing this a couple of times, and all this texture here and the way that I placed the texture over here, just the basic layout. I hadn't changed the rocks, so this was not gonna fit. But then when I placed it, it actually went more or less pretty much all around the last changes, which maybe means that I either went and did it and forgot, or when I was building this the last time, I checked the rock work and built around it. In either case, I was pleasantly surprised. So while placing all the other things and all the other rock work, I decided finally it's time to fix this gap here. If you remember, we had these double 2-stud slopes, one here and one bigger one here. And that really annoyed me, as rocks like that don't really exist, that they're just sloping and they're so big. Like anything but a single stud slope for me looks very weird on rocks. So I finally went here and fixed it. Now I placed everything over here. Like I said, this used to be here before and this used to be here, but obviously the length is increased, so now we have a gap. And I sat down, and obviously all the little patterns here were, well, different, as the spacing was now different, and everywhere where the rock was going around the texture and doing all the other things, it just didn't work anymore. So I had to go back and work on it a little bit. It's not still like it could be ironed out a little bit, but I will do that another time. Same with over here, changed a few things, but more or less I made it sure that it goes around the texture and the new spacing. So now that I've done that, let's see how it will work out with the actual garden little walkway, and then what exactly will have to be built to fill the gaps. Okay, so I've placed the walkway modules. Now over here, I've obviously just placed a few tiles, so this kind of sits over here and it doesn't really hit these studs. So it sits on these and on one or two of these, so it just doesn't kind of slot it in. Very soon I'm actually going to cover all this in tiles, so it's very stable and there are no like roughness, so this doesn't sink in when you press it too much in different spots. And same actually with the great hole, and underneath it will not just be a border, it will be a full carpet of tiles. And yeah, it actually very pleases me, since I haven't seen this in a while. This little rock work that I did, that's part of this module, is really fitting with the rock work on the panel. It all works together and slots in together very nicely. And yeah, I feel like it's very, very pretty. And even though this kind of section is not, it's like something that I myself decided should be here, I like it very, very much. So yeah, over here we have this little nook that needs to be made and connected over here, and the same with the other side. So I guess I better get to work, and I think I'll start with the rock work first, and then we'll have to do the two little extensions of the walkway. So here's the rock work panel that I did kind of quickly, maybe use a little bit more light bluish gray this time, but it still can be reworked. I think I've redone this rock pattern, maybe all these panels like 3 or 4 times, and one day I'll really go back and maybe make them perfect. But all in all, I feel like this is fine. I've left this knot over here just on purpose to remind me that I need to place some more all over the place. I remember that many people didn't like these color leaves over here. They maybe prefer this color here. I myself am not really in love with either one. Kind of want to go maybe moss green, maybe some other type of green, I don't know, or maybe even scrap the leaves altogether. We'll see. But yeah, this works out fine, goes around the pattern of the texture more or less. So now need to make this section and the other one, and here I need to add some more rock work just to go around and kind of blend with this. And boom, there we go. This is the back section where the side building is, and there is the first pocket. Now it turned out that these 1x1 moss green, I'm kind of out of those, so I think on the other section actually there is some gaps, but I'll have to order those. But this is what it looks like with the increase, and I feel like it blends quite nicely. Obviously the richness of all the flowers and bushes, I would like to increase it even more with time. I'm not sure I'm very happy with using these pre-made bushes. It's just that I have quite a few of those, so might as well not have this section blank. I really like these, also the flowers. So we'll kind of try to improve as time goes on, but the way it looks now, I feel like this little garden alleyway with the benches and the rock work, different leaves, some kind of creatures, and also these braziers that go zigzagging all around, following the little path. I really like those. So this section here, really pleased with the result. And wow, it's getting very close to this actually being done. One of the few things that's left is to cover over here. The pieces should be here very soon, and I will actually probably spend the whole update and to cover this whole section here with the texture. So it looks like this, and actually this side here, the upper side, all across all 3 angles, and also the chimney over here needs some more detail, and also actually this whole back section needs to be covered with texture, and this wall and the other wall on the opposite side. And here is the other pocket over here on the front side where all the texture is already present, with the little gap over here for the well, this building over here, which also needs to be covered in texture. I'm thinking whether I should change the design, but yeah, about that another time. So yeah, over here is where the new little pocket is. Added 2 more benches, continued the zigzagging pattern of the braziers. It's a bit kind of empty on flowers, as before. If you remember, we had 2 trees, one over here in the angle and one over here where the little leaves are. Actually, it was behind this bench, and that tree, those 2 trees actually are disassembled. I believe they're over here in this bag. I'm thinking whether I should go back to them, as I wasn't in love with them. It's actually my first really try of making my own tree, my own designs, and both of them looked fine. You could go back in the video maybe like 20-30 episodes ago and see actually when I talk about those trees. But yeah, they looked okay, but one was really flimsy and the other one, it just didn't look right, the upper section. But anyway, I will see if I will place the trees. I think even back then I was talking about these trees really not being here but being on the other side. So we'll probably not place them back here, even if I do end up using them. But yeah, other than placing some more flowers here and there, this really blends well. As So you can see some little gaps here as I'm planning to place some more screen over here as continuing the pattern basically. So yeah, this is now done, and actually again it took quite a bit longer than I thought it would take. And yeah, can you believe that this side of the gray hole, so this module without the courtyard, now takes a full table, which is 1 meter. And before, I believe the whole great hole with the courtyard pretty much took a slightly over this whole table. So now it actually will take 2 tables to support this, which is crazy. But yeah, this is pretty much all I feel that I will have time. So let's actually close this and see if I can do something else. And if not, I will let you with my closing words. It's amazing really how big the gray hole has become. If you compare it to, for example, the Home Alone set, and well, there's the Green Gods Bank, which I actually built very recently, try to treat myself and relax, and the custom 3 broomsticks that I made, which is pretty much more or less as big as the Home Alone set, maybe slightly bigger. And then you have the Great Hall, which just dwarfs them all. And it's not really the whole Great Hall. I mean, the Great Hall is the Great Hall and the courtyard. And yeah, the courtyard is right here in the back. And really hoping that actually reforming that will not take as long, as there aren't so many walls that need to be reconstructed, and pretty much the whole dimensions will be the same. But always when I try to do something and I say, okay, this is going to take 4 hours, it ends up taking 8 hours or 12 hours, or doesn't matter how much, just much longer. But yeah, really happy actually with this update. Didn't really think that I will have enough time to finish all this and make the big mills plates, and actually it really worked out with the dimensions here. I didn't have to reconstruct much of the little pockets of greenery or whatever you want to call it. Actually, something that I did do and maybe didn't mention it before was I ended up shortening this side that is left from the end of the building to over here by I believe it was 2 or 4 studs. Now I forgot. I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere, but basically this is shorter now by 2 to 4 studs, because it just meant that this would have to be modified and it would become very strangely wider compared to this pathway. So I kind of really wanted the distance from the building to here to these rails here to be the same, more or less, over here, and it was just going to become too wide, and I didn't like that. So I just shortened the mills plate, and this actually fit very well. And yeah, making these 2 additional modules, this one on the other side and the rock work, took a lot longer than I thought, but I'm very pleased that I managed to do that all in time for this video to be ready. So yeah, with this actually getting very close now, still plenty of stuff to do. Need to place back the kitchens, Hufflepuff common room. Hopefully this will not take long. Still not sure if I'll do it next time or I'll do something else. Maybe I will do the texture if the pieces arrive, or I will do something completely different, like maybe fixing the back wall over here of this back section. I've been trying to think of different ways to fix it, because over here you just see this wall here, and I just want to add some different customized wall layout inside, but still haven't figured out exactly what exactly I'm going to do. But yeah, been trying different things, and I'll just pick one and see how it shapes. So yeah, pretty much that is all for me, and I will see you once again in well, 2 weeks or so. Once again, if you like what I'm doing and you find me rambling interesting, please consider subscribing. If you have any opinions of what you have seen, want to give some feedback, or tell me what a terrible builder I am, feel free to share it below in the comments. So yeah, you will see me again in 14 days or so. Thanks for watching, and stay healthy, keep building, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye for now.